Hello, everyone, and folks out there in TV land. We are here live, obviously, here at PASCO Laboratories, and welcome. I'm JP. I'm here with Heidi, and if you are like me, and you've got somebody like Heidi, you'll understand why the word for the day is please.
Oh, I love the TikToks, though.
Please be quiet. Please be quiet. That's what we're all asking, is please be quiet. And so that's what today is all about. We want to take this opportunity to be quiet, but we also want to take this opportunity to take what we're all surrounded by, locked up at home with people like Heidi, and we're going to take noise, and we're going to turn it into something exciting, sound. And we're going to investigate sound.
Okay.
Does that sound better?
No,
I think it sounds better.
Way better.
No, it sounds better. And the really great thing about what we're doing today is we're going to be able to show you how you can do this at home, how you can do it with your students, how you can do it for distance learning, and everything that I'm going to show you is free. And who doesn't like free? Right, now you're
Free
excited.
is for
Right,
me.
free is good. So let me show you some things. We're talking about sound, and of course you've got that sound, but I've got this sound, and this is a lot more relaxing. It is relaxing, yeah?
Yeah.
So the question is, you hear those different sounds, and what do you think the difference is between this sound and this sound?
I would say pitch.
Yeah, the pitch is definitely different. And if I were taking a look at the characteristics of the wave, what characteristic of the wave defines the pitch?
Distance,
The distance of...
one peak to the next.
Yes, the distance from one peak to the next, which is the wavelength, or the rate at which those waves move, which is the frequency. And we can show that frequency here. I did bring a little spring in, and so let me say, let's start with,
Gotcha.
thank you. Let's start with this sound, which is a, here we go.
There we go.
We've got this sound, which is a low frequency, large wavelength sound, and then we've got this one. Now that is going to be like this.
All right. Yeah, I've done this with kids with rope on the floor.
Sure, you can do this with rope. We happen to have a spring here because it makes good for what I'm showing you, but it can be done with a piece of rope at home. But we're taking a look at the differences in those frequencies. Now, we might want to actually do that where we can measure those frequencies and take a look at them. And we can do that by a free download. And let me remind you again that you can do what I'm about to do here with a free download called SparkView. SparkView can be found on the PASCO website. It's just www.pasco.com. Type in SparkView. You can download it on any computer, or if you're doing it on your phone, like you have there on your phone, Heidi, you just go to your app store and look up SparkView, download it. It's free, and you can do the same things that I'm doing here. So let me show you some things about those sounds, because I've got SparkView up and running, and I have it set up so that I have it set up on the scope, which is taking a look at that. And look at what we see here. You see me talking and you talking, and we see different intensities going on there. Take a look at the sounds that we played.
That's pretty data.
That's very pretty data. Oops. Shh. Now let me try that with the other one. Do you see a difference?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Let me capture them. Now let's be quiet again. So I can capture that one and we can take a look at it. Beautiful, yes?
Yeah.
And now let me capture the higher pitch. And let's compare the two.
Ah, just like our spring.
Right, exactly. You can see that the lower pitch sound had a much larger wavelength here. That's the blue wave that you see on the SparkView screen. And the higher pitch had a much higher frequency, or a pulse, and we can see that here on the screen. Now this isn't showing me the actual wavelength. This is showing me the intensity of the wave, but what it is showing me is the time between the pulses, or the distance between each one of those waves. From trough to trough, or peak to peak, I can actually measure that. And if I know that, there's a wonderful little relationship between frequency and period. And those of you in physics who want to take it a step further, the frequency is 1 over the period.
Okay.
So we could get the frequency. All I have to do is go back to my waves here. Let me choose this nice blue one here. And if I take this point here, and I take this point here, I can measure the distance, the time between those 2 points, which is the period. And by doing a quick calculation, I can get the frequency.
Okay.
Would you like to do that?
No. Just
Okay.
kidding. Sure. Let's do it.
No, let's not do that, because it's actually much easier to use it within SparkView. Now, I could do that. I could definitely do that calculation, 1 over the p. I can get those differences in time, which is the period, and I can calculate the frequency. Or I can let SparkView do that for me. Would you rather do that? Yeah, me too. Because within SparkView, we actually have the ability to use what's called a fast Fourier transform, which does all of that math for me in advance. So let me set that up. I'm going to turn on my microphone. I'm going to use the FFT, and now let's take a look at those sounds again. Let me expand that out. You see the difference in frequencies?
Absolutely.
Now let me capture that one. Blow that up. And there we are. There is the frequency. And I can actually measure that frequency here. Let me get that frequency. And it's at about 1679.59 hertz. That's the frequency.
Okay.
Now, how big's the wave?
I don't know, but I bet you're going to tell me.
I'm not going to tell you. We're going to calculate it because there are some great mathematical relationships between frequency, the speed of sound, and the size of that wave. And if I'm trying to get the wavelength, which is what I'm doing here, and I hope you can see this at home, if I'm trying to get the wavelength, it's just the speed of sound divided by the frequency. I have the frequency.
Okay.
I know the speed of sound because it's a constant. In this room, it's a constant. So I should be able to get the wavelength. All I need is a calculator and somebody that knows how to use it, which would be Heidi. Excellent. And so...
What am I doing?
Okay, well, the speed of sound in this room is 343.2 meters per second. So
Okay.
343.2 meters per second. And the frequency that I just got on SparkView is 1679.59.
So I divided that
And it equals
0.20
0.20 what?
meters.
Right, 0.20 meters. That's the actual length of that wave. 0.2 meters, what is that in centimeters, Heidi?
20.
Right, so we can show this wave, and we could show this at home, or we could show this or ask our students to show this at home. The actual wave that we're measuring here is 20 centimeters. So I'm going to go 80, 60,
40, 20, and then to the 0 mark here.
Beautiful.
That's pretty cool.
That's extremely cool. Of course, it worked out perfectly in this case, so we were able to fit these waves in a 1 meter, but the distance between each wave is actually 20 centimeters. And so that wave, that pulse that's traveling through air, that's hitting our eardrums, or in this case, hitting the microphone, is actually traveling with a distance between those pulses at 20 centimeters. Did you know that?
I know it now.
That's right, and so your kids can know that also by doing a simple little experiment, calculating some frequency and taking a look at the wavelength. Now, you might not have nice chimes at home, but you do have musical instruments. In fact, you might have glasses at home or cups like these. Difference in frequencies?
Yes.
Sure, and you could even play them, but don't let me show you how to play them. Let's go to somebody who did a much better job with playing musical glasses than me. You ready to watch this, Heidi?
I am.
Give it a shot, Nolan. Yeah, I knew you'd like that. He's pretty good, yeah?
He's great.
And you can follow him on TikTok, and he's got those things out there on YouTube also, but he does a really good job, and he's much better than what I could play. Now, the one thing that we've talked about, Heidi, I've talked a little bit about frequency, we talked about waves, but there was one thing that I left out. What was it?
Amplitude.
Sure, we left out amplitude, which is still yet another characteristic of waves that's important. Why is it important? Because we work with people like Heidi who don't know how to be quiet. Right, because amplitude is all about loudness. And so I went back to my SparkView and I started writing a program. Now again, this is all free. download SparkView. You can work within SparkView, but I want to take a look at what it is I'm recording here. Again, that intensity, that sound intensity, and as I measure it, you can see, go ahead Heidi, talk for me.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3,
Oh, come
4.
on, now you're being quiet,
Hello.
right? There we go. So we can take a look at Heidi there. We can see that she has a different range. Sometimes Heidi's range is very high. She's sometimes around 0.2, 0.3. I would like Heidi to always maintain a level that's below 0.1, where I would like her to be, because otherwise she's noisy. So what I did for me and for my own health, I wrote a program here in SparkView. I opened up the Blockly, and I'm writing a program here where I have it set up so that when the intensity of that sound is greater than 0.1, I wrote it so that it says, shh.
Nice.
Right. And of course, if it's less than 0.1, I'm not going to say anything. And so I'm going to put this on your desk so that when we're working, it's going to tell you to shh when it's too loud. So let's take a look at how this is going to work. And of course, you can do this at home. I set up a screen that has that there for me. And go ahead, Heidi.
Hello, 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 hello. Good morning.
Shh.
Ah.
Right. And so I don't even have to say it. The program is going to say, oh, now it's telling me to shh.
Good.
Right. So you can set up a program just like this. Again, using Blockly, using the coding capability, using some computational thinking, and this free program, you can do this just like we're doing this here. We've got a question coming in. Janet.
I do have a question. The question is, are you using a probe for sensing or the computer mic?
Ah, yeah.
That's great, Janet. Great question. The question was, are we using any probes? And like I said, this is all free. We're using the microphone in this case, the microphone that's on my computer. You can download this on your phone and use the microphone that's on your phone. This is great to use in the house around your kids. And when our kids come back to the classroom, it's awesome to let them know that they're getting too loud just by programming it using the microphone right there on your computer. So we use this, and this was a pretty neat device. But Heidi, we can take this a step further.
Yeah.
I did everything here for free. And,
Right.
and I did all this coding for free, and that was great. But I know you have something even better.
Yeah, so that was a great question. Yes, for everything JP just showed you, he just used the onboard sensors within his computer, or you could use your phone. But if you would like to add a sensor, we're going to talk about the Codenode. So the
Awesome.
Codenode has inputs and outputs, and today we're speaking on sound. And there's two components to the Codenode you can utilize. There is a sound sensor in there, and then there is also a speaker. So let's talk about frequency first. This is pretty neat. So I've just created a really quick program here because I want to show you how you can use tuning forks and tune your Codenode to that same frequency. So let's check this out. So I set it at 1,000 hertz. So let's start with this tuning fork.
So this is a tuning fork that is 1,000 hertz. It makes a tone at 1,000 hertz. And
Yep.
you wrote a program so that the Codenode emulates that sound
It
at
will
1,000
emulate
hertz.
the sound.
So if a hertz is a hertz and 1,000 is 1,000, they should sound the same, yes?
You think they're going to do it?
We'll find out.
All right, here we go. I'm going to click done here and start my program. Cover my light sensor.
It sounds the same.
Pretty
I
cool.
hope our folks at home can hear that it is
Well,
the
here,
exact
let's-
same tone.
Let's increase.
Sure.
So I'm going to go from 2,000, or excuse me, 1,000, 2,000. Quick switch in my program. Let's see if I can do it again.
Identical.
Yeah, pretty
So
cool.
a hertz is a hertz is a hertz. Of course, we're seeing that here, that hertz is hertz, 2,000 is 2,000, 1,000 is 1,000. And you made a program that allows me to investigate that. I'm assuming, Heidi, just assuming that I could probably program it to
Yeah.
emulate these also if
Yeah.
I wanted to. I could, right. I can measure the hertz on my computer and then input that into the Codenode, and I could have it emulate the same sounds. So it looks to me like I'm able to play music. Looks like that's able to play music. Seems to me like you'd be able to make that play even more music.
Yeah, check this out. So the Codenode has a lot of great curriculum that we've written that comes with it. And this is something that you guys can try at home if you want to do something a little bit tougher. So you talked about music, right?
I did.
So notes have certain frequencies, and it's really easy to find that stuff out, physics of music. So I used I created some variables so I could recall these notes, and I set the frequency based on what I was able to find, and then created a function that would play these in the order that I wanted them to. So I started working on Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So let's see how that goes.
I'll move that close to your microphone.
Oh,
there.
yes.
Okay.
All right, here we go. What do you think? Do I have a new career?
I think keep your day job, though it's much better than what I was playing using the beakers. So I think you did a very nice job with
Yeah,
that. So,
it's really cool.
What you did was you looked up the frequency, you went online, you realized that frequency and notes in music can be correlated, and there's lots of places on the web to
Yeah.
figure that out.
Absolutely.
And then you actually read music.
Yes.
You made a musical song. You made a song based on the
I
notes.
attempted.
Poorly, I might add, and you made a song based on the notes that you got from frequency.
Yep.
Beautiful, very nicely done. So that's frequency, we used wavelength, you were able to measure that, you did some neat things with there, but when I worked over here, we talked about amplitude and what can you do with that?
All right, so let's talk about amplitude. So we talked about frequency, and you know what these guys are, right?
Yeah, those are the earbuds that people wear now and play their music far too loudly at the gym.
Yeah, so when we measure amplitude, the unit of measure we use decibels. So do you know what a safe range would be in terms of decibels for your ear when you're using earbuds?
I don't. In fact, the only thing I really know about decibels is like chainsaws and jet engines are too loud. And vacuum
Right.
sweepers are very, very loud. Blenders are very, very loud. These are all measured in decibels. But when I'm putting things directly in my ear, I'm sure there's a safe range.
Yeah, there is. It's actually 60 to 85, or 65 to 80 decibels is the safe range.
Okay?
But the Codenode won't measure in decibels. It measures amplitude in loudness, so 0 to 100%. So I did a little comparison and found out that 15 to 35% loudness is pretty much right on target with the 60 to 80 range for the decibels.
Very nice.
All right, so that was important to note. So here's something neat you can do. So I'm going to pull up my music, and I'm going to start it a little low, and I want to show you my SparkView screen. Take me just a second for this new program to open. And I'm going to pull up a graph that'll show the loudness. So I want my kiddos and myself, just out of curiosity, to see how loudness changes when I'm playing music. So let's start the program, start my music. Oh, I don't know why. My screen isn't clearing. Hang on one second.
Yeah, I want to clear all those runs.
Yeah, let's get rid of that. You can tell I've been playing a lot. Got a lot going on there. I can easily delete my runs, have a nice clean graph. There we go. All right, let's give it a whirl.
Okay, so you're putting the microphone up to the Codenode.
Yep.
The Codenode is recording that sound, and
Let's turn up the volume and see what happens.
and as the volume's going
yeah.
up, I'm seeing that we are
See it
reaching
spiking?
higher peaks on that graph. And is that dangerous yet?
Yeah, we're hitting ranges that we shouldn't be listening to. I can tell because I'm clearing over 50%. That's not good.
And we said over 30% was dangerous.
Yep.
Now, the one thing I'm noticing, Heidi, and our folks are probably noticing at home, you've got the microphone up to the
Yeah.
Codenode, but the Codenode is blinking different colors, and there's got to be a reason for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the really fun part about Blockly and coding, is I research the information first. It's important for me to understand how the loudness works. It's important for me to understand dangerous levels for me to be listening to my earbuds. I can hear the music from here. That's not good.
Right.
So I came up with a challenge where I created a coding program that I could set the ranges in. So you can see here, 0 to 14.
Safe.
Totally safe.
And I see there that that shows up then as, what color is that? Oh, as green. It's showing up with a 5 in the green, and so that's the green in the lights. Good.
And then we increase with intensity. So we go from green to yellow, which is caution, don't go above that, into red, and then blue is like, no way, you shouldn't be listening to music this loud.
So you can test the level of sound coming from your earbuds using this program. What you've done is, through computational thinking, you've created a safety monitor.
Yep.
And looking again now, I'm seeing that this is spending a lot of time in the red, which is dangerous, and, and every now and then in the blue. And so this would be too dangerous for my ears, and these are recommendations that we shouldn't be playing our music that loud. So that's a really nice program.
Yeah,
that's a
it's
great
a lot of
device.
fun.
Now, if our folks wanted to do this program, would they be able to do it? If they bought the Codenode, would they be able to figure out how to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. They could today. We have what we call our Codenode Solution Set. So you can get this amazing hard book that comes with the Codenode and a holder. And what's really neat about the book is it's got 5 detailed activities in it, all centered around science concepts. But we don't talk just about the science, we start going more in depth into coding. So maybe you want to learn more about loops, conditionals. Like here I use compound conditionals. We talk about that when you need to set ranges. And it has sample code within the book. So 5 activities, goes more in depth in the coding. But with that, you also get digital access, which you could actually get today if you go to the Teacher Resource Center, and get the Coding to Learn teacher manual. And it includes more in-depth instructions, some sample challenge coding that accompanies the 5 in here, but then we have an additional 5 activities, and the investigating sound levels with your earbuds is one of them.
Is in there. So folks today, if they wanted to, they could purchase they could get the Codenode today, they could go online today, they could get that program, that entire activity that you wrote for them today, just by getting the Codenode and purchasing the Codenode. The activity itself is free and it's online. If you wanted even more assistance and you wanted the complete solution, then you would get the Codenode Solution, which has the book, the holder, the Codenode.
You got them upside down. There we go.
My apologies. The book, the Codenode, the complete solution, and all of the activities that are written, all available, and that's all part of the complete solution package. So whether you want to do simple code noting or you want to do the complete solution, you have that opportunity, and Heidi put that great package together for you. And so whether you want to play sound and music our way,
or TikToks,
or this way, or probably better, doing it this way, you have those opportunities, either doing it for free or doing it with the Codenode. And you're probably wondering, how do I get that great stuff? Well, I'm going to tell you. All you got to do is use today's word. If you want a special price on this whole Codenode package, you can get it, because today's word was...
please.
Please. Please be quiet. And if you write our own Isaac Martin and say, please, Isaac, please be quiet and get me a good price on that Codenode complete solution, Isaac is ready to give you the discount of a lifetime in getting this complete solution in your hands, in your kids' hands, in your students' hands, whoever you are. You've got kids at home and you want to do some coding opportunities, reach out to Isaac and say, please, Isaac, get me that Codenode and let's get that for you. And if you don't have an Isaac, that's okay. Internationally, you can get this as well. Just reach out to your international partner and say, please get me that Codenode, and let them get that Codenode to you. And remember, all of these activities that we're doing every week, trying to bring something to you that is distance learning, you can find them. They're all available. Just go to our website and look up PASCO Live, and you will find all the things that Heidi and I or any of our folks here at PASCO Laboratories do, and we're happy to share them with you. Did you have a good time today, Heidi?
I had a blast.
Shh. And for all of you, we say thank you for joining us. We wish you the best of luck, great teaching, and good day.